Welcome to Just Curious Media. This is Zen Dog Training. I'm Jason Connell.
And I'm Gordon Fontaine.
Gordon, it's a pleasure to be back with you today to delve into more in the Zen Dog Training spectrum, helping people, helping dogs. I like to say you are making the world a better place by
Oh, thanks,
bringing
Jason.
more Zen into the household. But this is a really good episode, as they all are. Please check out our catalog. But you being a trainer now, nearly 20 years in the biz, you're in homes, you're working with people, you give them all the tools, but it doesn't just happen in an instant, as I can imagine.
Yes.
It takes them making the change because you're not just training their dog for them. You're
Correct.
giving them the tools to succeed. And I'd love to talk more about that because you're in different people's homes. It could be a single person or a family of 10. It's just the
Yeah.
dynamics are so different. I mean, you're really managing people. You're almost a
Yeah.
bit of a therapist. So
I
it's
heard that a few
fascinating.
times.
And I want to delve into this more and some takeaways our listeners can have as they try to create their own Zen dog.
Yeah. The reason I really wanted to talk about this is because it's something that's sort of the reality of dog training.
Yeah.
Is I come to the house with what I think are wonderful ideas and these great strategies and solutions and even hacks, but the implementation depends on people actually doing what I recommend.
Yeah. Following through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But beyond following through, like they have to, some of the stuff is really counterintuitive.
Okay.
And one of the things that I wanted to bring up here was Dr. Neil Wiseman, my downstairs neighbor, Dr. Rachel Wiseman. Her father passed away last year.
Oh.
He was just an incredible psychologist. He's old school. So he did the hypnotherapy stuff.
Yeah.
And he was retired by the time I got to know him. A real character, really wonderful man. Every time he'd visit, he lived in Florida. And every time he'd visit here, he'd want to go to the horse track and he just loved to soak up all the things that were New England, the things that he remembered from living in the area. Wonderful man. But he knew what I did. He knew that I drove to people's houses and tried to teach them dog training. And he would just have this laugh. He'd say, Gordon, he'd say, oh my, you don't even know what you're asking of these people. I'm trying to teach them positive reinforcement and how to stop unwanted behaviors and the systematic approach and the 7 puppy essential. And we don't know where they are. They could have some, issues. They could have trouble. We really don't know where this person is as far as life or anything. And here I am expecting so much out of each client.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I was kind of alluding to, you're going into a house somewhat blind on their life. I mean, you know a little bit. I'm sure there's a questionnaire and you know their profession, which gives you a lot of insight. But still, you're flying blind. You're going in here. And I love that Dr. Wiseman, rest in peace, Dr. Wiseman. But yeah, it laughs at it because he's trying to help cure people his whole career.
Right. And here I am being like, okay, you got it. Bye. 2-hour visit later. We do
I'll send you a check. Dog's okay. Everything's good. Okay. Yeah. You're in and out.
It's just asking so much out of each person. And then I often reflect, like sometimes I'll get like a migraine and how little exercise my dog gets that day.
Right.
Like when someone has a physical issue, let alone have ability, learning difficulty or just a busy life or no time, the realities of life. So in some ways, I think what we do is a very positive thing because we have these short hacks, solutions. When someone does implement them, they can see immediate results. Play biting goes away in sometimes 48 hours. House trained dogs in like a week. Wow. But it does require the client to follow through. So I want to talk a little bit about the things that we as owners, the Zen aspect, to think about yourself and your natural responses and some of the counterintuitive things that we have to do and have to think about with dogs and how they see the world.
I think it's great. And I know one note that I was drawn to before we came on this episode was dogs are not verbal. We are. There's a lot packed in that because it's like it's so obvious, but at the same time, you got to think about it because most people punish and they want to talk to the dog or shame the dog.
Like they're a child.
Yeah, and they're not a child. They live in the moment. They live in the moment, moment to moment.
And words don't matter unless the words mean something.
Right.
And so words have to have a predictable outcome. And that's what Pavlov proved with the bell and the food. And we are the verbal ones that keep trying to talk or scold or yell. And often we don't realize that yelling can even encourage an unwanted behavior because it was more attention when they did something bad.
Yeah. So what are some counterintuitive things you see right away when you're working with a new client?
Well, the first one was, like you said, the scolding, the yelling, looking them in the eyes, giving them a hard eye, it actually encourages unwanted behaviors.
Wow.
I think I mentioned I have my nephew, Logan. He visited
Mhm.
my house, and we love having him come for a week at a time. But he left the gate open, and the dog could
Oh,
escape. What did I say? Logan, hey, dude, what? Close the gate, man. The dog can escape. So I'm immediately using his name
yep.
the way you're not supposed to do with the dog, to not punish, but in this case, to say, hey, to
Yeah.
bring this to his attention. But that is the exact, you don't do that with your dog.
Right.
You're not supposed to use their name for punishment. You're not supposed to just scold and yell from the top of the balcony like I was doing. Logan, close the gate. The dog can escape.
Yeah.
Right. But he's so verbal and cerebral,
Yeah,
and he's got
he
a
gets it.
fancy forebrain.
Yeah.
He's like, right. And he knows I love him, but
Yeah.
I'm just in this moment worried and serious.
Yeah.
And he can change his behavior. But your dog, when you say, don't do that, and you maybe you hold up the remote after they did something bad.
Yeah. Someone's
Like
done
they
that.
may not
Someone close, yeah.
understand. They just
Yeah.
know that you were so mad about that
Yeah.
remote.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting at. So we want to
Exactly.
really want to act and talk in ways that help our dog understand us. And it's usually not the words, it's actions and consequences we need to focus on.
So when you're there working with someone and you're there for a reason, they either have a puppy or a dog already doing things that they don't want in their life, unwanted behaviors. What are you seeing right away? Are they pushing back on the counterintuitive things like, well, this is what I do and this is why it's
No.
worked before? Do you have a little bit of that battle? That
A
struggle?
little bit, but mostly people are in 100% agreement with me. They're like, oh, that's a great idea.
They
But
need
then
you.
they agree. They're like, yeah, it's a great idea. But then when I come back for the second visit, the implementation hasn't occurred yet.
Okay.
And so I see this countless different ways. The reason I changed our tools and equipment guide to The Secret is that a front clip harness and remembering treats on every walk and using an indoor leash when visitors come over are ways to help you control your dog gently and be the one in control
Right.
without a lot of effort.
Yeah.
But yeah, I come to the house in the second visit and then ding dong, I ring the door and I open the door and there's a dog, no indoor leash on. He's jumping up and he jumps on me 4, 5, 6 times in a row. And what do they say? They say, down, down. They're grabbing him by the
And they're
neck.
apologizing, I'm sure, to you.
Yeah. And you know what I'll do sometimes, Jason? I'll say, you know what? Let's do that again.
Yeah. There
Put
you
the
go.
indoor leash on.
Nice.
I'm going to leave. And then when they open the door the second time and they're stepping on the leash, the dog is never able to physically jump on me
Yeah.
in that case.
Yeah.
Because every time he jumps on me, he learned that jumping's okay.
Yeah.
Because you're too late to the game. You're saying down, off, but he's already jumped on me 5 times.
It's already happened. Yeah.
It's already imprinted. And so if you can get to that where the dog doesn't do the behavior first, that's a huge win. And it's as simple as treats on a walk. Before the dog starts barking the bus, look at me. Oh, what a good boy. Treat, 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 treat. Call him to me, step on the leash. Oh, he doesn't jump on a friend. You want to give my dog a treat? Do you mind asking him to sit first, Jason? So many things get fixed by just having these little fixes that way, but they require us remembering the treats or remembering to follow through.
Yeah, as you come back in and are startled with that behavior, unwanted behavior, I'm sure Dr. Wiseman is chuckling somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what did you expect? What did you expect?
Gordon, you're not a one and done type of system either, trainer. You show up, usually I'm assuming, you don't just do it once and you usually
Two
come
visit
back to the
minimum.
home.
Two
Yeah.
visit minimum. By the third or fourth visit, they're not doing something right. So most of my second visits, by the end, it's usually a 90-minute follow-up. By the last 15 minutes, we're just chatting with the clients that followed through.
And do they check back in months later, or do you ever you just assume no news is good news?
I do. But we're really busy in a great way, which I'm so grateful for.
Yes.
But we're really, really busy. So it's hard to have time to check in. I probably see 6 to 8 in-homes a week, just myself. There's 7 of us who are doing in-home training.
Yeah.
I see 2 puppy classes a week of 6 or 7 dogs each. So almost 20
can't.
dogs a week. And then that's part of my system is that they come back to me and I can tell if they don't follow through with their second visit. Unfortunately, they're probably not following through.
That's what the podcast is for, reaching a wider audience, because Gordon can only be in so many homes in so many
My
weeks.
trainers and I can only
Yeah.
do so much. That's right.
And you're limited to the Boston area, the greater
Yes.
Boston area. It's not in person, it's different, but the tools are being shared here, and which I
Agreed.
take great pride in. And I'm excited to be a part of the family, the Zen Dog Training family. What are some other things? So you've seen unwanted behaviors. You're really going after the people, training them, the counterintuitiveness, because, hey, I've trained dogs before, undoing their bad habits. And what other things that should we know, or any examples come to mind?
Yeah, well, the things that come to mind are like front clip harnesses
Mm,
and any of the things we've talked about as the
yeah,
tools that guarantee that you have the upper hand. And in so many countless situations, someone has like a puppy, they know they're going to outgrow the harness really quickly.
right.
So they don't spend the 20 bucks, 25 bucks on a tiny harness, but then they're using just a regular flat collar, which might as well be
Yeah.
a slip lead because it's
Yep.
putting pressure on the trachea and choking their dog every time they pull or
Yeah.
jump. And so they've lost the ability to control during this formative
Yeah. The
brain
growth.
development,
Yeah,
right?
you're
Growth.
right.
And so you blew it. So it's definitely implement with the right tools and equipment. But as a trainer, and this is where my trainers and I reflect on being Zen. If my doctor says lose weight, I don't smoke, but like stop smoking or whatever they say, more exercise, I nod and say, yeah, great
Yeah.
point,
Oh,
doc.
okay.
And
Yeah,
then
sure.
the majority of us know that that advice often gets ignored. Not because you don't want to do it, but because it's hard.
Right.
It takes some work and some focus. So the Zen aspect here is reflecting on ourselves and identifying what we try to do as trainers is these are the smallest steps that you can take that will have the most impact.
Yeah. And maybe this is a topic for another episode, but how Zen or mindfulness do these sessions go with the people in their home?
I don't, in that there's so little time and
Yeah.
so many sort of tactical, practical things to learn.
Okay.
But what I was hoping to capture in this episode is, especially as listeners can kind of reflect on their own habits
Yeah.
and what they do and say, well, right, I can't just go muffin no because nothing happened.
Yeah.
You have to say, hey, and then get up and physically interrupt them over and over before they understand that means stop it. And yes, good girl means here comes a reward.
Yeah. I totally agree. You go into some homes and I'm not there to train. I'm just meeting people sometimes and I can quickly see they have no control over their dogs and they're just wasting words. Stop,
Right.
stop, stop. It's like, that's not even doing anything. It's just aggravating you and me.
Just
So
like you were
yeah,
saying, dogs are not verbal.
they're
We
not.
are.
That was your note. So I give credit back to you. But I know that you had something about Catherine and Josie, a story that you wanted
Oh
to
yeah, it's a
share.
great thing to kind of wrap up with. So one of my wonderful clients, Catherine, she lives in Lexington, and she's a psychologist who goes to people's homes and works with children in the family setting.
Okay.
She loves what I do because it's similar. We drive to someone's home to help
Yep.
them with their dog in their home setting. And she is not retired, but she could be. Let's put it that way. So she's been doing this a long time. And she got a Jack Russell Terrier, my
You
favorite.
love it. You love
I
it.
do love the little wild ones. And I mean, this dog is feisty. It's just feisty. And I mean, wonderful, sweet personality, but like so high energy. And so Catherine she knows that she needs help.
Okay.
So she hired me, she joined my puppy class, and she's there just soaking it up. But she knows how difficult it is for her to remember to do it the way I teach. And she just wants more visits. She wants to do puppy class. At the end of every puppy class, she says, "You're so good. You're so good. I love watching you interact with the other people," because
Oh,
she's able to sort of separate herself from and watch me try to mimic or try to just be kind and
sure.
not like the doctor. He doesn't
Yeah.
say like, "Oh, yeah, I told you to lose weight last time." He's like, it's probably really helpful on your knees if you lost a little bit of that weight or
Yeah.
whatever it is. You got to be kind and just persistent in some ways about the recommendations. And I really respect Catherine for hiring me and trusting me to help her train Josie
Oh,
and know that she needed more help.
that's a fantastic story. And it's got to, make you feel good. Someone appreciates you for you. You're very Zen. Gordon, I've been saying this. You needed a podcast, so we're doing that together. But you might even have a TV show in the future. So you never know.
It sounds like work.
It is a lot of work, yes. Well, this has been fantastic. Learning more, letting us behind the curtain of Zen Dog Training. Anything else you want to leave us with, Gordon, before we?
No, I kind of wanted to have a more of a fun episode that talks about sort of the Zen aspect and a little bit more about what I see as a trainer of how my team and I know it's hard. It's hard to implement these techniques. They're a little bit opposite than how we interact, very opposite than how we interact with other people or train a child or teach.
Well, thank you again. And please, listeners, fans of the show, subscribe, rate, and review. It helps us immensely. Check out zendogtraining.net for wonderful materials, takeaways. Listen to this podcast there, stream it live if you want. And check out justcuriousmedia.com as well for all the other shows we produce. Gordon, until next time, my friend, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jason. It was a blast.